All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole. Good evening, and welcome to back to our session on business English. Yesterday, we've covered about business English vocabulary, the key terms that we can use or we can utilize in a professional setting. Now, we will be touching on business English phrases. So I'm really pleased to have you all participating today. So you can communicate with me through the chat bots that is embedded in this video. Well, in this session, we will be focusing again on practical phrases you can use immediately in various professional situations. You can think about how often do you need to express yourself clearly and professionally at work, whether it's during meetings and emails or when speaking with colleagues or even clients. That's where understanding and using the right business English phrases becomes so valuable. Now we will explore common expressions for agreeing and disagreeing politely, asking for clarification, giving updates, making suggestions, and so much more. Because learning these phrases will not only make your communication more effective, but also help you sound more confident and fluent in a business context. All right. So, why do we learn this? Of course, we're going to ask, why do we learn this? Why do you learn this? How about you? Why do you learn this? So, why is it important to learn specific phrases? Well, sometimes knowing individual words is not enough, right? The way you put those words together can significantly impact how your message is received. So, using appropriate phrases ensures that your communication is clear, that your communication is professional, and as well as culturally sensitive. So, whether you are looking to improve your participation in meetings, write more effective emails, or simply enhance your overall professional communication skills. So, if you're looking for that, then this session is for you. I'm looking forward to exploring these useful phrases with you. So, to get us started, um, maybe can you think of a business situation where knowing specific phrases would be particularly helpful? Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. That is my way to check if you are here with me and that you are really ready to cover what needs to be covered for today's session. Well, before that, let's try to read some important aspects on why do we learn this. I've already talked about this particular bullets yesterday also on the yesterday's session for business English vocabulary. But I'll stop on that really quickly. So we learn business English phrases to understand global communication, which is crucial as numerous business now operate internationally, whether interacting with overseas clients, collaborating with global teams, or staying informed through international industry news. So English here, it often serves as the primary language. It's our lingua franca, right? Strong business English skills streamline these interactions, leading to greater effectiveness. There's also for career advancement, proficiency in business English is a valuable asset in many internationally oriented industries. There's efficient collaboration, which is enhanced with team members who can communicate clearly and professionally in English. And the global market access can also be a reason because for business, they seek international expansion and they rely on employees with strong business English skills, you as an employee. There's also professional growth, which extends beyond just vocabulary and grammar. And learning business English involves developing comprehensive professional communication skills, which includes clear writing and concise writing emails, for example, participate confidently in meetings, something like that. Well, in essence, acquiring business English skills, it provides you with the vital tools to succeed in an increasingly interconnected and globalized professional world. It represents an investment, right? An investment in your future and a means to amplify your potential for success in the realm of business. All right, let's proceed immediately with the first set of phrases. I think you are ready. I think. Well, to check if you're ready, you can always type in, you can always make yourself known, make yourself or make your presence known on the chat. I'm gonna type a simple hi. Okay? All right. You can always respond to that. Just, for me to check if you are here. For a minute, let me check if my screen is okay. All right. Okay. It's okay. It's all good. Well, while you are still maybe um there, I hope. Well, let's immediately start. Let's get started with the same phrase that I've mentioned or that I've spoken. Let's get started. Okay, I think you're already familiar with this, and if not, I think what the way I speak it, the way I said it earlier, gives you an idea, right? Well, let's get started. That phrase, it means to begin a meeting or work session. So this is your go to phrase for initiating any kind of group activity in a professional setting. It is direct, it is clear, and it signals that it's time to focus on the task at hand. So you might use it at the beginning of a formal meeting, for example, or maybe an informal team huddle, or even when starting a collaborative work session on a project. So the level of formality here in your tone can match the context. It can be slightly more formal for a client meeting or more relaxed for an internal team discussion, but let's not try to be too informal here because no matter the situation, we always try to narrow it down, focus on the context of business. Business English. And business English is leaning more on the formal side, right? Formal side of conversation, formal side of English. So let's try to not be too informal here. Although not to, we always do not be too formal here, but just, a little bit more relaxed, but not too informal. Okay? All right. So pronunciation wise, the last column, this one, this is a pronunciation. This is how we transcribe certain phrases following the IPA guide or International Phonetic Alphabet. So this is how we IPA transcribed the phrase "let's get started." This is just more of a guide on how you really can how you really pronounce the words in this phrase. So if you're familiar with IPA, this will be very easy to you. You're just gonna read this one. Okay? All right. Well, if you're not familiar with IPA, of course, we're gonna try to expand it in a way that you can understand, or it will be very simple to you. So here, pronunciation wise, you ensure that the T sound at the end of let's, the T sound, the letter T sound there, it should be connected smoothly to the letter G sound at the beginning of get. So let's get. The stress on started, that's where the syllable or more of like word stress here in this phrase, it should be noticeable, it should be clear because that's our main point. We are talking about indicating the beginning of the activity. So we give emphasis on the word started because started itself means you want to begin something, and that's what we're trying to convey here, a message that we're trying to convey here. We want to begin a meeting or work session, right? So that's where the emphasis is in this phrase. Now, the vowel in started, the sound there, it is a longer open sound, like when you say so started. So there's a long sound there. Now, combining those, of course, let's get started. T should smoothly glide with letter G sound of the get, and then the emphasis is on started. So let's get started. Again, let's get started. So here, you use this at the very beginning of any planned work activity which involves more than one person. Okay? Here, you should also be mindful of your tone. Usually, this is generally neutral to slightly enthusiastic. And of course, it depends on the context also. But usually it's neutral to slightly enthusiastic. Let's get started. Again, let's get started. Okay. Next, please take a seat. Please take a seat. This is to invite someone to sit down. So, this is a fundamental phrase for showing politeness and hospitality in a professional environment because you would use it when welcoming visitors to your office, or when beginning a meeting where attendees are standing still, or even when directing someone to a specific chair during a presentation or workshop. The word please, the first word, right, in the word please, I'm sorry, please polite makes it a polite request rather than a command. So it tones down the whole phrase. It softens. Okay? It's a softener. So please is a word that you can use to soften your phrase or your sentence. Pronunciation wise, please take a seat. So the long E sound in please, so there's a long E sound in please. It should be held slightly to, convey politeness. So please take a seat. Okay? And take a seat, the last three words in this phrase, the A sound, it's ishwa. As you can see in the IP transcription, the upside down E, that's ashwa, right? If you remember. Now, when we say shwa, it's a very short, unstressed vowel sound. So, please take a seat. Take a seat. Okay? The E in the seat here, it's also a longer vowel sound. So, seat, not sit, but seat. Okay? It's a long vowel sound. Remember that, as well as in please. There's a long vowel sound there. In please, there's a buzzing sound instead of hissing. So this one, letter Z sound. In please, instead of saying please, the hissing sound, we usually say please with a buzzing sound, with a voiced sound. Z. Okay, with a voiced sound here. So please take a seat. In take, there's a diphthong. We're familiar with diphthong, right? It's when a vowel sound smoothly glides with another vowel sounds. So that's a diphthong. There's a vowel E and I here. So both, when combined and create one sound, we get a diphthong. All right. So when to use this particular phrase, please take a seat. When you want, of course, to someone to sit down, whether they are a guest, a colleague, or a participant in a session you are leading, for instance. Here, usually the tone would be polite and welcoming, of course, and your body language, you should be mindful of it. It would be very helpful to combine both verbal and nonverbal languages. And body language is that would be on nonverbal side. If you say please take a seat, you can also try to pair it with gesturing towards a chair. Right. So nonverbal communication will always be very helpful. It will enhance the overall sentence or phrase that you are saying. So you should match this tone and your body language. Please take a seat. Please take a seat. Okay? Match your body language to what you're saying as well as your tone. It should be polite and welcoming. All right. Next, do we have any updates? When we say this, we want to ask if there is any new information. So this is a standard way to begin a discussion about progress or recent developments. It is often used at the start of a recurring meeting, like a weekly project update, or when you need to get the latest information on various aspects of a project or task. Now, the phrase here, it is open-ended, because it invites anyone with new information to share it. It does not limit. As long as you have any new information, that will be accepted. And it should be related to, the topic at hand. Now, pronunciation wise, Do we have any updates? Do is an auxiliary verb, right? So the auxiliary verb do here, it can sometimes be reduced to the. Do. Do you? Do you? Instead of do, do. Do you? Yeah. In faster speeches, you usually do that. You tend to do that because it's fast. It's fast speech. But for clarity, especially with learners, pronouncing it fully is good, especially in a professional setting where we try to be as clear as much as possible. Okay. Now the stress here is, do we have any? The stress here is on any, and then shifting to updates because it highlights what you're looking for. Any updates, any new information, that's what you're trying to highlight, that's what you're trying to convey. That's what the kind of message that you're trying to convey to the other person or persons inside the space you are in. So the final S in updates, it should be clearly audible if there is more than one update, okay? So do we have any updates? Do we have any updates? Well, we use this, as I've mentioned earlier, at the beginning of update meetings, when checking on the progress of tasks, or when you need to know if there have been any recent changes or news. Well, when we try to say this, after I'm gonna try to say the phrase again. Do we have any updates? Again, do we have any updates? What kind of tone do you notice? It's generally neutral and inquisitive, right? Okay, very good. Well, that's what we are trying to convey here. So that is, do we have any updates? Okay, while I oh no, reconnecting. But yeah, never mind. I'm sorry for that. Let's immediately continue with the fourth phrase. Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. Again, let's stay on track. Okay, this is to keep the discussion focused. So this is more of like a tactful way to bring a conversation back to the main topic when it starts to wander. It emphasizes here the importance of time management and achieving the meeting's objectives, because the phrase let's, it suggests a collective effort, right? Let us, it's a right if you notice, if you know, let's, the word let's, it's a contraction, right, of let us. So it suggests a collective effort rather than a direct reprimand, because it's us as a collective. Us is a collective pronoun, right? So your tone should be collaborative and it should be focused on efficiency. Well, pronunciation wise, very easy. The in stay, there's a diphthong sound, right? Diphthong, vowel plus vowel sound, we get the diphthong, that one. The one I highlighted, that is a diphthong. A, stay, right? You can clearly hear the diphthong. It should be clearly heard. Stay. The diphthong is A, the word is stay. A, stay. Okay. The and on is a short open vowel sound like the O in hot, in many accents. So let's say on track. On track. It could be on track or on track. On track or on track. Okay? So the in track is the short sound as in cut. So let's stay on track. Track, cut, short sound. Track. Okay. So this phrase is let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. Again, when the discussion is going off topic, you use this. When time is limited and you need to refocus the group, you use this phrase. Or when you want to ensure the meeting achieves its intended purpose, you use this phrase. And of course, you should pair it with a tone that is collaborative, that is gentle and focused on efficiency, not accusatory. Okay? We do not try, as much as possible, we should not try to offend any of our members of the group. Okay? And finally, we have, that's a great point. That's a great point. This is to praise someone's idea. Okay, this is to praise someone's idea. So this is a positive and encouraging phrase used to acknowledge and value someone's contribution to a discussion. So it shows that you are listening, that you appreciate their input. So using this phrase can foster a more positive and collaborative team environment because the level of enthusiasm in your voice can reflect the impact of the point made. Okay? Pronunciation wise, that's a great point. The at the beginning, I mean that's in the beginning, right? That's is the beginning. There is that is it includes a version of th sound that is voiced. So th, voiced th, it is transcribed as like this, the one I highlighted. That's how you transcribe it. That's a voiced th sound where it vibrates your vocal cords when you say it. Okay, very good. And the diphthong in great, I'm sorry for that. The diphthong in great, it should be clear. Great, great. And then there's also a diphthong on point, this one. Oi, point, oi, point. There's also a distinct diphthong. We try to clearly pronounce the diphthongs in these and in these words inside the phrase. Okay, so you use this again when someone makes a valuable suggestion, or when someone raises an important issue or offers a helpful insight during a discussion. And of course, it should be paired with appreciative, positive, and encouraging tone. So your tone should sound genuine. All right, for the first set of phrases we've talked about, let's get started. Please take a seat. Do we have any updates? Let's stay on track. Well, that's a great point. Okay. And with that, of course, it's time to check how you are doing. If you're following so far, so it's time to practice. Very easy. Sorry. I'm just, we're just gonna I'm just gonna ask you to basically read the phrase with me. That's basically it. No thinking really needed. No much thinking really needed. I just want you to properly say the phrase with me. While I'm saying it, you should also be saying it, okay? Because of course we try to focus on pronunciation here because that's what we are trying to improve, right? Your pronunciation so that you can be clearly understood by many. All right, let's start. When you want to begin a meeting or work session, what do you say? Let's get started. Again, let's get started. When you want to invite someone to sit down, what do you say? Please take a seat. Please take a seat. When you want to ask if there is any new information, what do you say? Do we have any updates? Do we have any updates? When you want to keep the discussion focused, what do you say? Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. And when you want to praise someone's idea, what do you say? That's a great point. That's a great point. And, yeah, that's the last one, I guess. All right, we've talked already about 5 phrases for now. So let's immediately move on to another 5 set of phrases, okay? Still on business English. Starting with, let's circle back. Again, let's circle back. So it means to come back to a topic later. So this is a very useful phrase for acknowledging a point that has been raised but needs more detailed discussion or is not immediately relevant to the current focus. It always allows you to keep the meeting or conversation on track while assuring that the person and their point will be addressed at a more appropriate time. It's a polite way, to postpone a topic without dismissing it, basically. Pronunciation wise, here, the word circle, the circle part, it has the stressed vowel sound like the in bird or in turn. Circle. Circle. Okay? The stressed vowel sound. Circle, sir, circle. Back here, the last word is pronounced clearly with a short ah sound, like in cut. So back, short ah sound, and then the T in let's, it should smoothly connect to to the letter S, or not letter S, but like the hissing sound in circle, right? S sound in circle, so it should connect smoothly with that. And when we try to take note of those pronunciation tips for this phrase, we get let's circle back, let's circle back, let's circle back. So use this when a topic is raised that is not current priority, and when a discussion is becoming too detailed and needs to be addressed separately, or when you need to gather more information before discussing a point thoroughly. All right. So, of course, still on tone, it should be polite, it should be reassuring, and indicating that the point is noted and will be revisited. Let's circle back. Next, any objections? Any objections? So you are trying to ask if anyone disagrees. Basically, this phrase is used to gauge if there is any opposition or disagreement to a proposed idea, a proposed decision, or a proposed plan. It seeks to ensure that everyone is on board, or to identify any concerns before moving forward. Of course, like what I'm saying, from time to time, if you have any clarifications, if there's any questions, if you have any lingering questions that you might want me to address. Okay? Well, going back, it's important to use a tone here that encourages people to voice their concerns if they have them. We do not want people to to really not share any kind of problems that they might have, or any concerns that they might have regarding to the talk that you are having. Okay, let's try to allow a more relaxed environment, so that the members of the group or of the meeting will be also comfortable to speak any kind of concern they have. Okay, pronunciation wise, the stress is on the second syllable, objections, because that's what we're trying to emphasize here. Okay, for a moment. All right, so yeah, going back, objections. Yeah, objections. So we stress on that, and then yeah, as you've noticed, as you can see on the IPA transcription, we use a buzzing sound here in objections. So there's the final S sound is pronounced as a Z sound, because it follows a voiced consonant sound. So any objections? Any objections? It's very, subtle, but it's there. Okay? Because here, when we try to say it, that our tone here is neutral to slightly formal, so it encourages open feedback. So we try to really properly pronounce any kind of word that is part of the phrase. Okay, so here this is any objections. Any objections? Any objections? Next, let's take a vote. Let's take a vote. This is to decide by asking everyone's opinion formally. This phrase is used when a decision needs to be made and there are, differing opinions within the group. So taking a vote provides a structured way to gather everyone's preference and reach a conclusion based on the majority. And it ensures also that everyone has a say in the decision-making process. Pronunciation-wise, let's take a vote. Take here, the second word, it has a clear a diphthong, right? That's one. I'm gonna highlight that. EI, that's a diphthong. Two vowel sounds are combined together to produce one sound. So it's a, take. Again, a, take. So there's a diphthong a there in the word take. Okay, very easy to recognize, very easy to notice. Well, the in, the here in the phrase, it's a schwa sound, so it's quick and unstressed. Vote has a clear diphthong. Also, there's also a diphthong there. This one, that's a diphthong. O, vote. O, vote. The T in let's, just like any other phrases that has let's, it should smoothly connect to the first sound of the next word. Here, it's the letter T sound in take. Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote. Okay. Um, okay. Let's take a vote. So, of course, if we try to tone it, it should be neutral and procedural in a way that emphasizes fairness and group decision making. Let's take a vote. Next, let's go around the room. Let's go around the room to have everyone speak in a meeting. So, this phrase is used to ensure that everyone in the meeting has an opportunity to contribute their thoughts, their updates, or their opinions, and it promotes inclusivity and can be particularly useful in larger meetings or when you want to hear from every individual present. It encourages here that participation is a must, and you can uncover diverse perspectives also here if there's many inputs that are shared by different people. Well, pronunciation wise, go here as a clear diphthong, right? Oh, go. Around has stress on the second syllable, round, around, which also has a clear diphthong. Ow. Ow is a diphthong. Around, round, ow, round, around. Now, the has a voice th sound, room has a long oo sound, and then t and let's should smoothly connect to the g in go. We've already know about that. So, combining those pronunciation tips, we get let's go around the room. Let's go around the room. Let's go around the room. So you want to hear from everyone, from every participant in a meeting, especially for updates, for brainstorming or gathering individual perspectives, you should use this phrase. Let's go around the room. Okay? Let's go around the room. So well, the way you say it, your tone should be inclusive and encouraging participation from everyone. Next, and finally, we are short on time. We are short on time. Again, we are short on time. So this is to say there isn't much time left, which means that this phrase, it indicates that the allocated time for a meeting, a task, or a discussion is limited and that the group needs to be mindful of the remaining time. It serves here as a gentle reminder to be concise, to be focused, to ensure that all essential points are covered before time runs out. Okay? Pronunciation wise, the first word, which is a contraction of we are, is where. This is a contraction again of we are. The short has a longer or sound, short, short. So long O sound there. On has a short O sound, on. You didn't say on, just like short, but on, okay? Short O sound. Time has a clear diphthong also. I. Time. I. Time. That's a diphthong sound. Now, we are short on time. Of course, very useful. I've mentioned it already. Use it when a meeting or task is taking longer than expected and you need to manage the remaining time effectively. That is, we're short on time. And then the tone, of course, here, it should be, matter of fact and urging focus and efficiency. That is, we are short on time. For this set of phrases we've talked about, let's circle back. Any objections? Let's take a vote. Let's go around the room. We are short on time. All right, same pattern as earlier. It's time to practice. Same pattern, same process. I just want you to read the phrase with me. While I'm reading, you're also reading in your own comfortable spaces there. All right? Okay. So when you want to come back to a topic later, what do you say? Let's circle back. When you want to ask if anyone disagrees, what do you say? Or what do you ask? Any objections? When you want to decide by asking everyone's opinion, what do you say? Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote. When you want to have everyone speak in a meeting, what do you say? Let's go around the room. Let's go around the room. And when you want to say if there isn't much time left, what do you say? We're short on time. We're short on time. Okay, very good. Let's try to take a deep breath first before we proceed because you might get already overwhelmed. I don't want that. You cannot really learn something from me if you are overwhelmed. So let's take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Oh my God. All right. Okay, very good. I think this is the last. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Let's continue with still on another set of phrases. Okay. I'm just checking my screen. I think it's all good. All good. All right. First is can we compromise? Can we compromise? This is to ask if both sides can give a little to agree. That's compromise. Can we compromise? This is usually crucial in negotiation and conflict resolution because it suggests a willingness to find a middle ground where both parties involved make concessions to reach a mutually, acceptable agreement. And with that, it fosters a collaborative approach rather than an adversarial one because when you use this phrase, it can help move discussions forward when there are differing viewpoints. Okay? Pronunciation wise, the stress is on the first syllable of, compromise. So, that's where the stressed syllable is. So, can we compromise? Can we compromise? Okay. The vowel sound in compromise is a long sound followed by a short O and then press with an I. Compromise, miss, maze, mice. Can we compromise? Oh my God, I'm sorry for that. I think I've pronounced it incorrectly because I was used to saying it compromise. But yeah, we can also say it as compromise. Okay, can we compromise? Okay, I stand corrected. Let's follow what is, IPA transcripted or IPA transcribed. So can we compromise? There's a diphthong sound there. I compromise. Mice. I is a diphthong and it is shown in compromise, mice specifically. All right. Okay. The auxiliary verb can here is often stressed and can sound like can in faster speech. But yeah, we try to say the words as clear as much as possible. Okay? So can we compromise? And as you've noticed, there is a buzzing sound here, letter Z sound. So this is compromise. Okay? Can we compromise? Can we compromise? So you use it during negotiations when trying to resolve disagreements or when seeking a solution that accommodates the needs of multiple parties. So your tone here should be collaborative, should be flexible, and should be solution oriented. Okay. Second, we'd like to propose. We'd like to propose. Okay, you continue that one. We'd like to propose and then your proposal. This is just a starting phrase for your whole sentence. So we'd like to propose to introduce a formal suggestion basically. This phrase is a formal and polite way to introduce a new idea, a new plan, or a new suggestion to a group or to an individual. So there's a contraction, right? So the contraction here would like or like would like, which is we would like, it softens the introduction and makes it less direct, of course. Following this phrase, you would typically outline your suggestion in detail. So that is why I've mentioned that this is just a starting phrase. Pronunciation wise, sorry, with, it sounds like weed, W-E-D, but yeah, like there's a diphthong, clear diphthong here. I like. I like. So that there's a diphthong sound there. Sorry. Two is usually a schwa sound. It's quick and stressed. The stress is on the second syllable of propose. So propose. There's a clear O diphthong at the end. Propose. O pose. Okay. And as you've noticed in the IP transcription, there's also still a buzzing sound here. A letter Z sound. So we say it as like that. So we say we'd like to propose, and then you connect it, you continue it with your idea. So this is usually done when presenting a formal suggestion in a meeting, during a proposal, or when outlining a new plan. And your tone, of course, when you do that should be professional, should be respectful and clear. All right. Third, let's revisit this later. Let's revisit this later. This is to delay a topic until later. Okay? That is the simple meaning here. This is similar to let's circle back. This phrase is used to postpone a discussion to a more appropriate time. It acknowledges the topic's importance but suggests that it's not the right moment to delve into it because that's not the topic at hand. It's not what we agreed to discuss at this particular meeting. So this could be due to time constraints, the need for more information, or a desire to maintain focus on the current agenda, which is usually the case. Pronunciation-wise, the stress is on the second syllable of revisit, revisit. So this is, there's a short E sound and a voice TH sound. Later, there's a clear diphthong here, later. Okay? There's a clear diphthong in the first syllable. And then the T in let's should smoothly connect to the R in revisit, just like any other phrases with let's. Okay? So with that, you say, let's revisit this later. Take note that the second syllable of the second word, there is a letter Z sound there. So there's a buzzing sound there. Let's revisit this later. You use this when a topic is brought up that is not immediately relevant, or when time is limited, or when a more in-depth discussion is needed to a future point. So when we do that, your tone should be polite, should be indicating that the topic will be addressed, but not right now. Fourth, that's beyond our budget. That's beyond our budget. This is to say something costs too much. This phrase is a direct but professional way of stating that a proposed expense or project, it exceeds the final financial resources allocated for it, and it clearly communicates a budgetary constraint. So you use this when discussing costs, proposals, or projects that exceed available financial resources. And when you try to discuss it, your tone should be firm but still professional and factual. Okay, because we're talking about money here. We're talking about technical aspects here. Now, pronunciation-wise, it has a voice TH sound, and then beyond, it has a stress on the second syllable with a long A sound, beyond. Okay, yawned. That is the stressed syllable here, beyond. Our has an O diphthong, And then budget, it has a stress on the first syllable with a short O sound, budget. So with that, we say, that's beyond our budget. That's beyond our budget. Again, that's beyond our budget. And finally, we have, I'll follow up by email. This is to promise more details will come by email. This is a common and efficient way to indicate that you will provide further information, further details, or a summary in a written format via email after a meeting or a conversation. So it sets the expectation for how and when additional information will be shared. So you use this when you need to provide more detailed information after a discussion, when you need to send a written summary, or when you want to keep the current conversation concise. You use that with a tone that is professional, that is helpful and clear about the next steps. Pronunciation-wise, this contraction of I will has an I or a diphthong sound I. So I'll. There's a clear diphthong here. Follow, it has a stress on the first syllable with a long A sound. followed by another diphthong O. Follow, follow. Up has a short ah sound, so it's quick. By, it has still a diphthong sound. I, buy. Okay. Email, there's still a diphthong sound there. A, email, mail, mail. So there's a diphthong, a clear diphthong sound here. And then the stress is on the first syllable with a long E sound. Okay? Combining those pronunciation tips, we get to say this phrase as, I'll follow up by email. Okay? I'll follow up by email. All right? Okay. So for this set of phrases, we've talked about can we compromise? We would like to propose. Let's revisit this later. That's beyond our budget. I'll follow up by email. Okay. All right. Same pattern, same process. Let's have a practice drill. Okay, same pattern, same process. You read the phrase with me. So when you want to ask if both sides can give a little to agree, what do you ask? Can we compromise? When you want to introduce a formal suggestion, what do you start? We'd like to propose. When you want to delay a topic until later, let's revisit this later. Let's revisit this later. When you want to say something costs too much, that's beyond our budget. That's beyond our budget. That's how you say it. And when you want to promise more details will come by email, what do you say? I'll follow up by email. I'll follow up by email. All right. Moving on to the next set of phrases, starting with please find attached. So this is a starting phrase. Please find attached. So you want to let someone know documents are included in an email. This is a standard and polite phrase used in emails to inform the recipient that one or more documents are included with the message. So it's crucial for clarity, and it ensures that the recipient knows to look for the attached files, and you should always clearly state what the attached documents contain. Okay, so this is again just a starter phrase. This is where when you use this is usually used at the beginning or middle of an email when you are sending documents along with the message. Of course, the tone is polite and informative. Pronunciation wise, please, which is the first word, it is a long E sound and a buzzing sound, letter Z sound. Okay, please. It softens the whole phrases. The whole phrase. It softens it. Please. Find. It has a clear I diphthong. I, find. Attached. It is stressed on the second syllable with a short A sound and a ch sound or CH sound like in church at the end. Attached. Attached. The A before attached is a schwa sound. So let's find attached. Attached. Alright. Next. Looking forward to hearing from you. This is a friendly way to end an email. This is a common and polite closing phrase in emails, which indicates that you anticipate a response from the recipient. It maintains a positive and communicative tone. However, its appropriateness can depend on the context and your relationship, of course, with the client. It's generally suitable for professional yet friendly communication because you use this when towards the end of an email when you expect or hope for a reply or further communication. So the tone that you're using here is friendly, it's professional, and also it's expectant at the same time. Pronunciation wise, looking. It has short O sound there, looking. Now, just for you to get familiar, the NJ sound here, the nasal sound, that's how you transcribe it in IPA, okay? Just, for you to be familiar. Forward, it has a stress on the first syllable with a longer OR sound, forward. To is usually a schwa sound, to t. Usually, it gets to that point. Hearing has a... hearing. So there is a nasal sound, NJ sound here. From, it has a short A sound, and then U has a long U sound. So with that, we say this as looking forward to hearing from you. Okay? Next is just to clarify. Just to clarify. Simple meaning is that you make sure everyone understands. just to clarify. And then this phrase is used to introduce a statement that aims to make something clear or to ensure there is no misunderstanding, and it can be used in meetings or in written communication when you want to rephrase or provide additional explanation. So pronunciation wise, just, it has a short sound and a J sound, of course. Tu is a schwa sound too. Clarify has stress on the first syllable, kla, with a short a sound followed by refi with an I diphthong in fi. So just to clarify, your tone is helpful, clear, and it ensures understanding. Next, could you elaborate? So you want to ask for more details. This is more of a polite and direct way to ask someone to provide more explanation or explain something in a greater detail. So it's useful in meetings usually, or conversations even, when you need a bit better understanding of a point or idea. Could you elaborate? Pronunciation wise, could has a short sound, you has a long u sound, and then elaborate, it does a stress on the second syllable, la. So there's a short s sound by elaborate with an I diphthong in the last syllable, rate, a, rate. Okay? So could you elaborate? This is used in meetings or conversations when you need someone to provide more details or explain something more fully. That's how we intend to say when we say could you elaborate. It's polite and inquisitive and seeking further information, and that is how you tone it. That is the tone that you're trying to use. And finally, we have thank you for your time. This is to show appreciation at the end of a meeting or email. This is a standard and polite way to express gratitude for someone's time and attention. So it's commonly used as a closing remark in meetings and as a polite closing in emails, especially when the other person has dedicated their time to you or discussion. Pronunciation wise, very easy. There's a voiceless th sound at the first word, thank, then a short sound. U has a long u sound still. I've already mentioned about this one. For has a schwa sound. And then your, it has a your. It has a sound that is, it has a long u sound. So your. And then time, it has a clear I diphthong, right? Okay. Time. So thank you for your time. Polite and appreciative and respectful tone should be imposed. Thank you for your time. And with that, another set of practice drills. Same pattern, same process. Please read this phrase with me. If you want to let someone know documents are included in an email, what do you say as a starter? Please find attached. When you want a friendly way to end an email, what do you say? Looking forward from hearing from you. And when you want to make sure everyone understands, what do you say? Just to clarify, you say it as a starter. When you want to ask for more details, what do you ask? Could you elaborate? And lastly, to show appreciation at the end of a meeting or your email, you say, thank you for your time. Alright, moving on to the next set of phrases. Starting with, let's touch base soon. This is to suggest a quick follow-up meeting or call. This is usually used at the end of a meeting or conversation when a brief follow-up is needed in the near future. Pronunciation-wise, let's, it sounds like the plural possessive let. And then let's, so that's a construction of let us. It's a collective effort. Touch has a short O sound and CH sound at the end. Base, it has a clear diphthong sound, A. So A, base. So soon has a long U sound. The T in let's, again, it should connect with smoothly with the T in touch. So let's usually or always, let's, the letter T sound and let's, it should follow smoothly or glide smoothly with the first sound of the next word. Okay? Let's touch base soon. Next, I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your feedback. You thank someone for their opinion. So this is a polite and professional way to express gratitude for someone's input, someone's comment, or suggestions. You use this after receiving suggestions or criticism from a colleague, from a client, or even from a superior. So your tone here should be grateful, should be respectful, and acknowledging the value of the input. Pronunciation wise, it starts with a clear diphthong sound, I. So that's a diphthong already. Appreciate, it has a stress on the second syllable with a long E sound and another diphthong sound. Okay? Appreciate, eight. A. There's the diphthong sound there. Appreciate. Your has a short sound followed by an R. Feedback, it has a stress on the first syllable with a long E sound and a short sound. So feedback. So you see it as, I appreciate your feedback. Again, I appreciate your feedback. All right. Next is, I'll get back to you shortly. Again, I'll get back to you shortly. Simple meaning is you promise a quick reply. This phrase is used to assure someone that you will respond to their question or to their request in a short amount of time. So shortly, it implies a brief delay, usually within the same day or very soon thereafter. It manages expectations and indicates that their inquiry is important to you. Okay? Pronunciation-wise, it starts with I'll, which is a contraction of I will. And there's a diphthong sound there in I. Get back, it has short sound, more like an sound and a short sound. So get back. To is a schwa sound usually to. U has a long U sound, shortly has stress in the first syllable with a long R sound. So you say it as, I'll get back to you shortly. I'll get back to you shortly. Next, okay. I'm available for a meeting. I'm available for a meeting. You say that to you. You say that when you want to intend that you are free to meet. So this phrase is a direct and clear way to inform someone that your schedule allows for a meeting. You might use it when responding to a meeting request or when suggesting a time to connect. So it's important to be clear and clear about your availability. When we say that, of course, our tone should be clear, direct, and accommodating. Pronunciation wise. First is I'm, which is a contraction of I am. And again, I has a diphthong sound, clearly I. Available, it has stress on the second syllable. There's still a diphthong a sound, a diphthong sound here in ve, in the second syllable. For it is a schwa sound. It's still a schwa sound. Meeting has a stress on the first syllable with a long E sound. So we say this again as, I'm available for meeting. Again, I'm available for meeting. It's when you say it when you confirm your availability for a proposed meeting or when suggesting a time to meet. All right. And finally, the last phrase of the day. Let's schedule a call. Let's schedule a call. So this is to arrange a phone or video call. This phrase is used to propose setting up a phone conversation or video conference to discuss something in more detail or when a real-time interaction is needed. So it indicates desire to arrange a specific time for this communication. Again, you use this when you need to discuss something that requires a real-time conversation such as problem solving, detailed planning, or important updates. Of course, when we try to intend to do that, our tone should be, again, it should be proactive. It should be organized and suggesting a clear next step for communication. So that's how we try to we try to come up with, the tone. And with that, let's have, of course, to see if you're following, let's have a practice drill. Same pattern, same process. I want you to read the phrase with me as I'm reading it. When you want to suggest a quick follow-up meeting or call, you say, let's touch base soon. Again, let's touch base soon. When you want to thank someone for their opinion, you say, I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your feedback. When you want to promise a quick reply, you say, I'll get back to you shortly. When you want to say that you are free to meet, you say, I'm available for a meeting. I'm available for a meeting. And when you want to arrange a phone or video call, you say, let's schedule a call. Let's schedule a call. All right. I think that is our, sorry for that. Yeah, I think that is our phrases so far. So those are the phrases that we say when we try to, we say usually in a business English context. Okay? Any questions so far before we actually try to wrap up everything? Do you have any questions? Any questions that you want me to address before we try to wrap up everything? I'm happy to accommodate your questions. Do we have any questions? Okay, I think there's none. Let me see my screen. Yeah, it's all right. Okay. So if we don't have any questions, let's try to read the phrases once again. All the phrases that we've mentioned or we've covered for today. All right, say it with me. Let's get started. Let's stay on track. Any objection? We're short on time. Let's revisit this later. Please take a seat. That's a great point. Let's take a vote. Can we compromise? Sorry. Wait for a while. I think my screen's wait up. Is my screen good? I think not. Wait for a moment. Okay, I think it's all good. Let's continue. Can we compromise? That's beyond our budget. Do we have any updates? Oh no. Let's go back before that. Okay. Do we have any updates? Let's circle back. Let's go around the room. We'd like to propose a follow up by email. Please find attached. Could you elaborate? I appreciate your feedback. Let's schedule a call. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time. I'll get back to you shortly. Just to clarify, let's touch base soon. And I'm available for a meeting. All right. Okay. We are already at the end of our session for today. So, okay, everyone, we've reached the end of our session, specifically focused on business English phrases. I hope you have gained a solid understanding of how and when to use these expressions effectively in various professional scenarios. Remember that mastering these phrases isn't just about memorization, of course, it's about understanding the nuances of each one and feeling comfortable incorporating them into your everyday business communication. So pay attention to the tone, pay attention to the context in which these phrases are typically used. And I encourage you to actively try using these phrases in your next emails, in your next meetings, or in conversation with colleagues even. So the more you practice, the more natural and confident you'll become in expressing yourself professionally in English. I've always highlighted that with consistent practice, will make it will really greatly improve your English speaking skills. There should always be an effort to consistently practice what we have discussed so far. Thank you for your active participation and engagement in our discussion of business English phrases, everyone. I highly appreciate it. Your questions and contributions have been valuable, I think. Well, I've gotten no questions and comments so far, but yeah, hopefully on our next classes. But if you have any further questions about these or the other business English phrases, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll gladly address it. Okay? Do we have any questions? All right, I think none because there's no one to accompany with me, right? But yeah, well, all good. I wish you all the best as you continue to develop your business English proficiency. May your communication be clear, effective, and confident in all your professional interactions. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Goodbye.